Hello everyone and welcome to the first presentation by Mobile Teachers Corner. My name is Ashley Nix Lindsley and today I will be presenting a short slideshow on how to handle transitions. So transitions, what are they and why are they so hard? Transitions, for the context of this presentation, we're literally just talking about moving from one activity to the next activity. The three transitions that we will tackle in this presentation are cleaning up toys, moving to a non-preferred activity, and perhaps going to school. Transitions can be difficult, not just for children, but for adults too. I know that I do not like to wake up when my alarm clock goes off and it's time for me to get up and get dressed and go to work. I may not wake up super duper early for my telehealth appointment. There are things in life that we just don't like doing, and that is no different for children. They do not like to clean up and go brush their teeth. They might not like to clean up and go to school. It's just something that we have to deal with on a daily basis, and there are so many transitions throughout the day. It can be very, very difficult. So let's get into what we can do for difficult transitions. So for our first scenario, we're going to take a look at cleaning up toys. In my experience teaching and in my experience observing, this is one of the most difficult things young children have to do is cleaning up toys. They don't want to clean up toys. They're having so much fun. They especially don't want to clean up toys if it means they have to go do something they don't want to do. It can be really difficult if a child is told to clean up right then and now because it's just rocking the world. I'm highly engaged in this activity. Why do I have to do this right now with no explanation? So one of the easiest things that you can do to help your child with the transition of cleaning up toys is to give a 5-minute warning that they're going to be cleaning up soon. And this is something that I do see a lot of out in the wild, as I like to say, but I don't see the follow-up or the reinforcement. A lot of parents will give in when it's time to clean up after that 5 minutes and their kid throws a tantrum. Okay, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes turns into 30 minutes, turns into an hour, it turns into a big problem when it's time to go. I've had the same thing in the classroom. Hey guys, it's time to clean up from center time and come do this math lesson. Well, I don't want to do math. Math is hard. Math requires focus. I want to keep doing my puzzle. I want to keep cooking this imaginary food. Having that 5-minute warning and giving it consistently can help your child get into the routine that a transition is about to happen. You're going to hear that a lot in this presentation. One of the most effective strategies that I used in the classroom was having a visual timer. I had one I like to call the stoplight timer. It was red, yellow, and green. You set the timer for however many minutes you want to, 5, 10, whatever, depending on the activity. Green light means, hey, it's good, you can keep playing. Kid looks up, sees the yellow light, oh no, I have to start cleaning up soon, but not yet, not yet. And then when that red light goes off, there's a countdown, there's a buzzer, hey, it is time to clean up and move on to the next thing. There are so many different timers out there that you can use. You can use an egg timer, you can use a kitchen timer, you can use a timer on your phone. The kids, some of the children that I've worked with, it's really more effective for them if they get to set the timer themselves, especially if it's on a phone. And a phone is something everybody has. You can download any timer for free, and there's so many decorative kinds out there, child-friendly timers, that you can have your child be like, okay, here, it's time to set the 5-minute timer and clean up, and when it goes off, it's time to go. But it's helping your child get some ownership in that transition and gain a little bit of responsibility for their own regulation if you allow them to set that timer as part of the routine. When it's time to clean up, some children, they really enjoy if you help them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Teamwork is awesome, especially if it's a hard transition. If you're working together and singing a light little cleanup song when that timer goes off, it can help distract them a little bit from the pain of having to clean up and go do the next thing, and help them feel like that, hey, you understand this is a hard activity. It sucks, we gotta clean up, but I'm gonna do this with you. Once you have routines in place and you've got those boundaries set to where you know they're not going to throw a major tantrum every time it's time to clean up, they're doing better with that transition, it is absolutely appropriate to offer some choices. If you're at the library and there's and there's toys, and it's time to go. We've been here for about 30 minutes. It's time to clean up and go. Well, if you have that extra 5 minutes and they ask for an extra minute, give them the extra minute. Just be firm when it's time to go. Don't let it turn into extra 10 minutes, extra 30 minutes. If you don't have the time, you can be like, well, we don't have an extra minute now, but we could get an extra 2 minutes next time we come. That might help ease the transition. You could give them a choice of, well, you can have 1 extra minute now or 5 extra minutes next time you come. You kind of have to gauge it on what your child responds to. If giving them that extra minute or two consistently turns into a meltdown, that's not a good idea. But if you have time and if you have the opportunity, it's great to offer choices and flexibility. It kind of reinforces the idea that, yeah, sometimes we do get to have that extra minute, and no, sometimes we don't. But you're going to be consistent with them either way. Scenario number 2, transitioning to a non-preferred activity. Basically, that is any activity that your child does not want to do or does not want to do more than the current activity they are doing. If your child loves to paint and they are painting and they want to paint all day long, but hey, we really need to go read this book, or we really need to go to the park to exercise. We really need to go to grandma's house. They're not going to want to do that probably more than what they're already doing. Or it could be something really difficult. Hey man, we got to clean up and we've got to tackle this math lesson in the classroom. It stinks. We don't want to do that. Man, we have to go to the doctor and get a shot. We have to go to the dentist today. I have to get a haircut. Those can all be examples of non-preferred activities that adults don't like doing. So for children, it's just as hard, if not harder sometimes. So again, if you have that 5-minute reminder routine established, if you have that visual timer going, it will just give that child a cue that, hey, we're going to have to clean up from whatever we're doing. We're going to have to stop this and go do something that we don't want to do. And that stinks, but here's a reminder that we're going to do this. I'm not just jumping it on you in the middle of nowhere. Oh, it's time to clean up right now and go to art class. It's time to clean up right now and go to lunch. If you just jolt them out of what they're doing, you're more than likely going to have a hard time with that transition. Another real thing that I really wish I would have had in my regular ed classroom, but that I did have in my autism classroom, was a daily visual schedule. It can be really simple as just a sequence of events and pictures. Hey, here's a picture of you waking up. Here's a picture of you eating breakfast. Here's a picture of you getting dressed. Here's a picture of us reading a book. Here's a picture of us going to school. Or it can be as detailed as you want it to be. But if you have a daily schedule and you have a sequence of events, a routine that you do every day, and you do these things pretty much in the same routine every day, it's really going to help you and your child to transition between preferred and non-preferred activities on a regular basis. If you're working shift work, if you don't have any kind of set schedule, I know this is extremely difficult, but if there's any way for your child to have a set schedule regardless of where the caregiver is, that's usually a little bit more manageable. And if they can have that schedule even when they're away from you, it's a little bit easier to do that non-preferred activity, especially in the classroom. Having a daily schedule up and having the children help you transition, like by moving the clip down, oh, we're moving from lunch to PE, we're moving from cleaning up to outside, whatever it is, get your child used to saying that we're going to do these same things every single day. Whether you like to or not, but that's going to remind you that we're doing them, so it won't be as hard. And the last scenario we're going to look at is going to school or daycare. Again, if you have a daily schedule or a sequence of events when you get up in the morning, that's going to help you maintain that routine. That's going to help you get up, get dressed, eat breakfast, whatever your morning routine is. The kid knows what's coming. It's not a mad rush to get out the door because you can't find things. Everything is ready to go. If you can have your child help you set out those things the night before, that's extremely helpful. It really helps your child get a sense of, hey, when I get up in the morning, I know I've got my stuff ready to go. I got my backpack here with my book in it and my folder. I've got my clothes laid out. I know that when I get dressed, I'm going to go eat breakfast and I'm going to leave. And everything's ready to go. It really can help reduce stress. Again, if you've got that 5-minute reminder, if you have a timer that you can use, that's really helpful. If you know, for instance, that you have a hard time getting those shoes tied, getting out the door, set your timer early. Set it for 15 minutes before you gotta leave instead of 5 minutes before you gotta leave. Give yourself some wiggle room for those bad days, because there's gonna be bad days and mornings where even getting in the car is a challenge. But if you have things in place to ease those transitions and you have routines in place, it's really gonna help. If you are at school, getting ready to go home, same thing. Those visual schedules like the one shown here, they're really amazing, and it really helps your child to know, okay, this thing is coming up next. It's not that big of a deal. We're going to do this. Here are a few sample schedules that you can take a look at. Again, they can be as detailed or as simple as you want them to be. In my classroom, I had our sequence of events laminated. I used pictures of our environment. I used pictures of the kids doing the things. So they were excited. They were like, oh, look, that's me brushing my teeth. Oh, look, that's me reading a book. It gets them more interested, or at least used to doing those transitions. An evening routine, highly recommended. If you can get your kid to bed around, if you can get them to bed around the same time every night and get them to wake up around the same time every day, it really helps their bodies just get used to having a set schedule. And then it helps you to be prepared for the next day. If you can lay those clothes out, get the backpack done. It's not out of the blue. If you have a schedule, if you have a routine, your child is going to have a way easier time with transitions. If you're interested in making a schedule, you have questions about making a schedule, or would you like me to make one for you, please feel free to contact me on my website. So what's the big picture? Transitions are hard, really hard, but they don't have to be. If you have a visual schedule and a daily routine or sequence of events that you keep up pretty much every day, that's going to help to ease transitions, because your child's going to be used to going back and forth between things they want to do and things they don't want to do. If you have a timer, 5-minute minders work fantastic. Please remind your child, hey, we're about to get up and do something. Springing an event or a change or a transition on your kid is the worst thing that I can see, because they just usually don't know it's coming. Again, I am not a parent, but in the classroom, the last thing we wanted to do is spring anything on anybody. If we knew we were going to have an off day, like, hey, we're going on a field trip. Oh, it's picture day. Oh, it's time to go get our eyes checked by the nurse today. Always let your kids know. Give them a heads up. If they're a little worrywart, don't give them too many details, but let them know there's going to be a change in that routine, and it's going to be easier to deal with it. And then the last thing is, once you've got those routines and boundaries in place, flexibility and choices can be great tools for compliance. If you have the extra minute, let them have the extra minute. Give them choices. If you don't, it's all about helping the child to know that you're going to help them through that transition. And yeah, it stinks, but we're going to do this together, and it doesn't have to be a big blowout every time we change from one activity to the next. Thank you for listening to this really boring presentation on transitions. I hope you have time to try some of these things and that it brings you success, or at least makes your transitions a little bit easier. If you have any questions or want to talk about a specific transition that you're having trouble with, please feel free to text me, hit me up in the questions box, or schedule a free consultation. Happy transitioning, guys.